Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I need you to hear me and hear me clearly, because a lot of women are confused about what men really love. Y'all think it's about looks. You think it's about body shape. You think it's about makeup, lashes, outfits, Instagram pictures. And I'm not saying that stuff don't matter at all, but that ain't what keeps a man. That ain't what makes him stay. That ain't what makes him choose you every single day. Respect. That's where it starts. Not beauty, not money, not chemistry. Respect. You can love a man with all your heart, cook for him, support him, be intimate with him, but if you don't respect him, he feels it. And when a man feels disrespected, something inside him shuts down. I'm telling you how we're built. You don't have to agree with it, but you better understand it. A man measures his value by how he is treated, especially by the woman he cares about. When you roll your eyes at him in public, when you correct him like he's a child in front of friends, when you joke about his weaknesses to get laughs, you think it's small. To him, it's not small. It's a crack in his pride. And pride is not ego. Pride is identity. A man's identity is tied to how capable he feels, how useful he feels, how respected he feels. See, love is emotional. Respect is foundational. Love says, I care about you. Respect says, I believe in you. And those are two different things. A man can survive without constant affection, but he cannot thrive without respect. If he feels like you see him as inadequate, he will either try to prove himself aggressively or he will quietly distance himself. Either way, the connection weakens. Respect shows up in how you speak to him. Tone matters, words matter, timing matters. If you disagree, do it with dignity. If he makes a mistake, correct him privately. If he's struggling, encourage him instead of comparing him to another man. Comparison is poison. The moment a man feels measured against someone else, he starts competing instead of connecting. And relationships are not competitions. Respect also means trusting his role. Even if he's still building, even if he's not where he wants to be yet, show him that you see his potential. A man who feels respected will move mountains. A man who feels doubted will move away. You don't have to worship him. That's not what this is. It's about partnership. It's about acknowledging his effort, saying, I appreciate what you do, saying, I'm proud of you. Those simple words hit deeper than you think. And let me tell you something powerful. When a man feels respected at home, he becomes stronger outside. The world is hard. Work is competitive. Life is demanding. If he walks into a house where he feels criticized, judged, or constantly corrected, he loses his safe place. But if he walks into a space where he feels valued, heard, and honored, that fuels him. That becomes his motivation. Respect doesn't mean silence. It doesn't mean you don't have opinions. It means you communicate with class. It means you attack the problem, not the person. It means you don't use his vulnerabilities as weapons during arguments. When he opens up about his fears or failures, don't store that information for the next fight. That breaks trust permanently. A respected man listens more. He softens more. He commits deeper, because respect tells him he is safe to lead, safe to love, safe to invest emotionally. Without it, he guards himself. With it, he gives more of himself. You want to know why some men stay loyal even when tempted? Because they feel honored at home. They feel like kings in their own house. Not because their woman is perfect, but because she values him. When a man feels like his presence matters, like his decisions carry weight, like his voice is heard, he bonds deeply. It's not about lowering yourself. It's about elevating the relationship. Speak life into him. Correct with care. Appreciate his effort. Protect his dignity. That kind of respect doesn't weaken you. It strengthens the bond. And when respect is strong, love grows naturally. Peace. Let me tell you something real. A man will go where he finds peace. Not noise, not constant tension, not emotional chaos. Peace. You can be the most beautiful woman in the room, but if being around you feels like walking on eggshells, a man will slowly detach. He may not say it immediately. He may tolerate it for a while. But inside, he's searching for calm. The world already challenges him every single day. Work pressure, financial stress, competition, expectations. Society telling him he has to be strong, successful, unshakable. He carries a lot quietly. So when he chooses a woman, he's not just choosing attraction, he's choosing an emotional environment. And if that environment feels like another battlefield, he gets tired. Peace is not about being silent. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about how you handle them. A peaceful woman communicates without attacking. She expresses frustration without humiliating. She can disagree without turning every disagreement into a war. That emotional control is powerful. It creates safety. When a man feels safe, he opens up. And understand this, men don't open up easily. When he talks about his fears, his failures, his doubts, that's vulnerability. If every time he opens up you respond with criticism, sarcasm, or dismissal, he shuts down. But if you respond with calm understanding, he trusts you more. Peace shows up in small things. The way you greet him, the energy you bring into the room, the tone of your voice when you're upset. Drama drains a man. Constant suspicion drains a man. Picking fights over minor things drains a man. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he wants stability. And here's something deep. A peaceful woman doesn't react to everything emotionally. She chooses her battles wisely. She knows not every comment deserves an explosion. She knows not every mood needs to become an argument. That maturity is attractive. It tells a man, I can build with her. Peace also means emotional security. If you're constantly testing him, threatening to leave during every disagreement, creating jealousy to get attention, that's instability. A man who feels unstable in a relationship never fully relaxes. And if he can't relax with you, he will look for comfort elsewhere. Maybe not another woman, but maybe work, friends, distance. A peaceful presence is magnetic. It's the woman who can sit beside him in silence and still feel connected. It's the woman who listens before reacting. It's the woman who brings solutions instead of accusations. When there's a problem, she says, let's fix this, instead of, you always do this. Men crave respect, but they live for peace. Peace makes him want to come home early. Peace makes him choose you over distractions. Peace makes him protective, committed, invested. When he feels calm around you, his nervous system relaxes. His guard drops. That's when emotional intimacy grows. And don't confuse peace with weakness. A peaceful woman can still have boundaries. She can still say no. She can still demand standards. But she does it without chaos, without screaming, without tearing him down. That controlled strength commands more influence than anger ever could. Think about it. When someone brings stress into your life constantly, you start avoiding them. The same applies here. If every conversation turns heavy, he avoids conversation. If every small mistake becomes a major fight, he avoids engagement. But if discussions feel constructive, he leans in. Peace is an atmosphere. You either create it or you don't. It's in your patience. It's in your ability to pause before speaking. It's in choosing understanding over assumption. A man in love with a peaceful woman doesn't just love her. He values her because she becomes his refuge in a loud world, loyalty. Now listen to me carefully because this right here is heavy. A man can be attracted to many women, but he will attach himself to the one he trusts. Loyalty is not just about not cheating. That's the bare minimum. Loyalty is about how you carry his name when he's not around. Loyalty is about what you entertain, what you allow, what you protect. A man needs to feel secure in the woman he's building with. If he constantly feels like he's competing with other men for your attention, if he sees you entertaining messages, flirting for validation, keeping backups just in case, something inside him shifts. He may not say it immediately, but he starts guarding his heart. Because a man cannot fully invest where he feels replaceable. Consistency builds loyalty. When your words and your actions match, he relaxes. When you say you're committed and you actually move like a committed woman, he notices. It's not about being perfect. It's about being solid. If you tell him you support him, then stand by him during hard seasons. If you say you're exclusive, then remove the distractions. A man values a woman who closes doors without being asked. Loyalty also shows up in conflict. When you argue, do you attack him publicly? Do you run to social media? Do you involve friends and family in private matters? Or do you protect the relationship? A loyal woman understands that not every disagreement needs an audience. She handles things with maturity. She doesn't expose his weaknesses to feel powerful. She protects his image because she sees him as her partner, not her opponent. And here's something important. Loyalty during struggle means more than loyalty during success. When he's winning, everyone claps. When he's losing, only the real ones stay. If he loses a job, if he's stressed financially, if he's doubting himself, and you're still standing firm, encouraging him, believing in him, that creates a bond that's hard to break. A man never forgets who stayed when it was inconvenient. Men are territorial by nature. Not controlling, territorial. That means they guard what they value, but they only guard what they feel is secure. If he feels like your loyalty is shaky, his protective instinct weakens. But if he knows without question that you are solid, his commitment strengthens. Loyalty is also emotional discipline. It's not just about physical boundaries, it's about emotional ones. Sharing intimate details with another man, seeking comfort from someone else when you're upset with him. That's emotional leakage. And men feel that shift. When your emotional energy starts moving outside the relationship, the foundation cracks. A loyal woman reassures without being asked. She makes her man feel chosen every day, not by words only, but by behavior. The way she introduces him proudly, the way she shuts down disrespect immediately, the way she defends him when someone questions his character unfairly. That's powerful. Trust takes time to build and seconds to break. One act of betrayal can undo years of connection. That's why loyalty is priceless. A man who trusts you deeply will open his heart wider. He will plan long term. He will see you as home. But a man who doubts your loyalty will always keep a piece of himself guarded. And understand this, loyalty is not submission. It's strength. It's choosing your partner daily. It's standing firm in a world full of distractions. It's valuing the bond over temporary attention. When a man knows you are solid, unwavering, consistent, he attaches differently. He invests differently. He loves differently because he feels safe building his future with you. Confidence, not loud, not arrogant, not attention-seeking. I'm talking about real confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation every 5 minutes, the kind that walks into a room and doesn't compete with anybody because she already knows who she is. That kind of woman? Oh, a man feels that immediately. See, insecurity creates pressure. When a woman is constantly questioning herself, constantly comparing herself to other women, constantly needing reassurance, it drains the relationship. A man will reassure you. He will compliment you. He will try to make you feel secure. But if it never sticks, if no matter what he says, you still doubt yourself, it becomes exhausting. Confidence removes that weight. A confident woman doesn't chase. She chooses. And there's a big difference. Chasing says, please pick me. Choosing says, I see you and I want you. When a man feels chosen by a woman who knows she has options but still selects him, that hits deep. That's powerful. That makes him step up. Confidence also means you don't tolerate disrespect. You don't beg for attention. You don't shrink yourself to keep a man. You stand tall in who you are. And here's the interesting part. When you stop trying to prove your worth becomes obvious. Men respect women who respect themselves. Now let's talk about comparison. Social media has made comparison a disease. If you're constantly measuring yourself against other women, their bodies, their lifestyle, their followers, you'll never feel secure. And when you don't feel secure, you move differently. You become suspicious. You become reactive. But a confident woman understands that her value is not in competition with anyone else's. Confidence is calm. It's steady. It doesn't panic when another woman walks into the room. It doesn't interrogate every interaction. It trusts its own position. And when a man sees that you trust yourself, he trusts you more too. A confident woman also has her own life, her own goals, her own passions. She doesn't revolve her entire existence around a man. That independence is attractive, not because men don't want commitment, but because they don't want pressure. When you have your own purpose, your own interests, your own growth, the relationship becomes partnership instead of dependency. And listen closely. Confidence allows you to communicate without fear. You can say what you like. You can express what you don't like. You can set boundaries without trembling. You're not scared he'll leave because you know if he does, you'll still be okay. That energy shifts everything. When you're not afraid to lose him, he becomes afraid to lose you. Confidence is also emotional control. You don't react to everything. You don't let small insecurities turn into big arguments. You pause, you think, you respond with maturity. That stability makes a man feel like he's with a grown woman, not someone he has to constantly manage emotionally. A confident woman doesn't need constant praise to feel beautiful. She takes care of herself because she values herself. She dresses well because she likes feeling good. She walks with posture because she respects herself. That self-respect radiates, and men are naturally drawn to that energy. When you know who you are, you don't beg for love. You don't tolerate crumbs. You don't accept confusion. You require clarity. And here's what happens. The right man rises to meet that standard. The wrong man falls away. Confidence without arrogance is magnetic. It says, I am enough. And when you believe that deeply, you don't cling, you don't compete, you don't chase, you attract support during struggle. Now, this right here separates temporary relationships from lifetime bonds. Everybody can celebrate a man when he's winning. Everybody can smile when the money is flowing, when the business is growing, when the confidence is high. But what happens when it's not? What happens when he's doubting himself, when he takes a loss, when life humbles him? That's when your presence matters the most. A man will never forget the woman who stood beside him when he had nothing but a vision, when he had a dream but no proof, when people laughed at him, when family doubted him, when friends disappeared. If you're there during that season, not complaining, not comparing him to more successful men, not pressuring him with, why aren't you there yet? But encouraging him, believing in him, speaking life into him, that plants something deep in his heart. Men carry pressure silently. They don't always talk about fear. They don't always show insecurity, but it's there. The fear of failing, the fear of not providing enough, the fear of not becoming what they promised. And when he looks at you during those moments, he's searching for belief, not pity, not criticism, belief. Support is not just words, it's attitude, it's tone, it's patience. If he's building something, are you patient with the process or are you rushing the outcome? If he's starting from zero, are you embarrassed or are you proud of his effort? Because a man can feel when you're ashamed of his current level, and that feeling cuts deep. The woman who says, I know you'll figure it out, instead of, you need to hurry up, becomes his safe place. When he feels like you're on his team, not judging from the sidelines, he fights harder, he works longer, he pushes through setbacks because he knows someone believes in him. And let's be clear, supporting a man doesn't mean tolerating laziness. It doesn't mean accepting excuses. There's a difference between a man who is trying and a man who is comfortable doing nothing. Support is powerful when there is effort. When you see him striving, even if progress is slow, that's when encouragement fuels him. Sometimes support is as simple as peace during pressure. Not adding extra stress when he's already overwhelmed. Not picking unnecessary fights when he's carrying heavy responsibilities. Choosing understanding over ego. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you strategic. A man who feels supported during struggle bonds differently. He attaches emotionally in a deeper way because struggle reveals character. And if your character shows loyalty, patience, and belief during hard times, he sees you as long-term. He sees you as someone he can build a future with. And here's something powerful. When success finally comes, he will remember who was there before the spotlight. He will remember who stayed when things were uncertain. Success amplifies loyalty. It makes appreciation stronger because he knows you didn't just come for the rewards. You endured the process. Support also means celebrating small wins, not just the big achievements. If he makes progress, acknowledge it. If he improves, notice it. If he tries again after failing, respect that courage. That recognition matters. When a man feels like his woman believes in him more than he believes in himself, something shifts. He rises. He steps into leadership. He pushes beyond limits. Because now, he's not just fighting for himself. He's fighting for the vision you both share. That kind of support builds unbreakable bonds. Not attraction, not excitement, bonds. And bonds built in struggle last far longer than connections built in comfort, femininity mixed with strength. That combination right there is rare, and when a man finds it, he feels it immediately. I'm not talking about weakness. I'm not talking about dependency. I'm talking about softness with backbone, warmth with boundaries, kindness with standards. That balance is powerful. See, a man is naturally drawn to feminine energy, the softness, the nurturing spirit, the way a woman can bring calm into a space just by how she carries herself. But here's the key. That softness has to be paired with inner strength, because softness without strength becomes vulnerability to manipulation, and strength without softness becomes hardness. The magic is in the balance. A feminine woman doesn't compete with a man's masculinity. She complements it. She doesn't try to overpower him in every conversation just to prove she's strong. She knows her strength doesn't need to shout. It shows in how she stands firm in her values. It shows in how she says no without apology. when something doesn't align with her standards. Strength means you have boundaries. You don't accept disrespect disguised as jokes. You don't tolerate inconsistency. You don't bend your morals just to keep someone around, but you enforce those boundaries calmly. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to threaten to leave every time you're upset. You simply stand solid. That quiet strength commands respect. And let's talk about femininity for a moment. Femininity is not about appearance alone. It's not just dresses and makeup. It's how you move. It's how you respond. It's emotional intelligence. It's empathy. It's the ability to nurture growth in someone without controlling them. A feminine woman listens before reacting. She understands before attacking. She expresses emotion without losing control. Men feel safe around that energy. Not weak. Safe. Safe to open up. Safe to share fears, safe to drop the tough exterior they show the world. When you combine warmth with emotional maturity, he sees you as a partner, not a rival. Strength also means you're not desperate. You don't cling. You don't beg. You don't lose yourself trying to keep him. You have your own identity, your own standards, your own sense of self-worth. That independence adds to your femininity instead of subtracting from it. Because now you're choosing him from a place of fullness, not emptiness. A woman who is soft but strong doesn't chase chaos. She doesn't feed drama. She doesn't try to control outcomes through manipulation. She communicates clearly. If something bothers her, she says it with calm authority. That maturity forces a man to step up. There's something deeply attractive about a woman who can nurture and still hold her ground. She can comfort him when he's stressed. She can encourage him when he's doubtful. But if he crosses a line, she corrects it without fear. That balance makes him respect her more. Femininity invites connection. Strength maintains respect. When both exist together, the relationship becomes balanced. He doesn't feel challenged unnecessarily, and he doesn't feel like he can take advantage either. He feels aligned. And here's the truth. Men don't fall deeply for women who are just soft. They fall for women who are soft but unshakable. Women who can love deeply without losing themselves. Women who can give warmth without surrendering standards. Women who smile gently but stand firmly. That blend of grace and power creates attraction that lasts beyond looks, beyond excitement, beyond temporary feelings. It builds admiration, and admiration is what keeps love alive.